In Michigan, voters just did something rare. They walked into a booth and killed a data center by nearly 9-1. Across the country, from North Carolina commission chambers to Florida zoning boards, the AI build-out is running headfirst into the people who live next door. Tonight, floating data centers off the Texas coast, the nation's largest grid threatening to pull the plug, and a $100 billion campus rising on a Cold War nuclear site. In Augusta Township, Michigan, a rural community near Milan, residents delivered a stunning rebuke to a proposed hyperscale data center. On August 4th, voters overturned the rezoning of more than 500 acres of farmland by an overwhelming margin. Unofficial results show 2,314 residents, nearly 90%, voted no, against just 269 in favor. The land, eyed by New York-based Thor Equities, had been flipped by the township board from agricultural to general industrial. Residents gathered enough petition signatures to force the question onto the ballot, and then buried it. If certified, the properties revert to farmland. And they're not finished. Organizers have filed petitions to recall all 7 members of the Board of Trustees. That fight is now spreading into county commission chambers across the country. Take Stokes County, North Carolina, where local officials just defied their own community. In a packed hearing, overflow rooms full, people spilling onto the sidewalk, the Board of Commissioners voted 3-2 to reject a 6-month moratorium and instead approved text amendments that swing the county's doors open to data center development. Every single public commenter spoke against it. Looming over the vote is Project Delta, a data center planned near Walnut Cove. The county had actually approved the rezoning for it back in January. But a judge declared that approval null and void in April after a lawsuit argued the public hearing notice failed to meet state requirements. Developers say construction could start within 18 months and eventually bring 250 to 500 jobs. Even as residents fight, the industry is inventing radical new ways to build, some of them floating. That's not a metaphor. Samsung Heavy Industries, one of the world's largest shipbuilders, has signed an engineering contract with Texas-based developer Mousterian to build the first moored floating data centers in the United States. The deal, executed at a ceremony in late July, moves the partnership into detailed design of purpose-built floating units, each delivering 50 megawatts of critical computing capacity, destined for Texas and other key markets. The logic is speed. By anchoring these platforms next to existing power plants on the water, developers can sidestep the land, permitting, and grid delays choking conventional projects. Mousterian's flagship, Project Zeus, envisions a 500-megawatt hybrid floating and land-based campus beside a gas plant in Houston, targeted to go live in the first half of 2028. But every one of these experiments runs into the same hard wall: power. And the grid is buckling. On the nation's largest power market, PJM, which stretches across the Midwest and Mid-Atlantic, operators are now warning they may have to temporarily cut power to data centers to prevent cascading blackouts. The alarm is real. Earlier this year, the North American Electric Reliability Corporation issued a rare Level 3 alert, its most urgent category, after blocks of data center demand exceeding 1,000 megawatts dropped offline within seconds in response to minor grid disturbances. U.S. data center electricity demand has nearly doubled, from 23 gigawatts in 2023 to 42 gigawatts today. Federal regulators at FERC have given grid operators roughly 60 days, until about mid-August, to file new rules or justify the old ones. The strain on the grid, though, is only half the story. Water tells the other half. Because these machines don't just drink electricity, they drink water. A sweeping new analysis finds that about 2/3 of the 809 data centers now planned across the United States are slated for land that has been gripped by drought over the past year. The hotspots are alarming. In the Phoenix area alone, nearly 60 facilities require roughly 177 million gallons of water every single day. A single large data center can swallow up to 5 million gallons daily, as much as a town of tens of thousands of people. And here's the kicker. The federal plan forcing California, Arizona, and Nevada to cut Colorado River usage by 16 to 20% doesn't even account for this new demand. State and local officials are scrambling to respond. In Palm Beach County, Florida, they're trying to slam the door. On August 6, the county's zoning commission voted unanimously to recommend a 1-year moratorium on new, large-scale data center applications. But commissioners went further, urging county staff to toughen the proposal, warning the current definition leaves too many loopholes for developers to slip through. It's the latest front in a national wave. Moratorium bills have surfaced in at least 11 states this year, and dozens of municipalities have already imposed local construction pauses, shifting the real center of gravity away from statehouses and toward county commission rooms. The message from local government is increasingly blunt. Not so fast yet. Despite that regulatory wave, construction is pressing forward at a scale that's almost hard to fathom. Consider OpenAI's newest bet. The company behind ChatGPT has unveiled Project Camellia, a colossal AI data center campus in Effingham County, Georgia, representing at least $20 billion in private investment, and by OpenAI's own estimate, more than $30 billion at full build-out. The plan calls for 4 buildings across roughly 100 acres inside the 2,600-acre Savannah Gateway Industrial Hub, drawing up to 3.2 gigawatts of electricity from Georgia Power, delivered in phases between 2028 and 2032. Bracing for backlash, OpenAI is promising that Georgia families won't subsidize the project, pledging $80 million in community benefits, and touting a closed-loop cooling system it says will use minimal water. And the financial commitment behind construction like this is staggering. Nowhere is that clearer than in Paducah, Kentucky. Energy giants NextEra Energy and Brookfield are teaming up on a transformation valued at more than $100 billion, converting a shuttered Cold War uranium enrichment facility into one of the largest data center campuses in the country. The project, unveiled alongside the U.S. Department of Energy, would build a 2-gigawatt natural gas power plant at or near the government site, backed by as much as 2.6 gigawatts of battery storage to feed the sprawling compute halls. It's a fitting symbol for this moment. The very ground once used to enrich uranium for the nuclear age is being repurposed to power the artificial intelligence age. From a Michigan farm town that voted no to a $100 billion bet in Kentucky, the question echoing across America is no longer whether this buildout can be stopped, but who will ultimately pay for it. Thanks for watching. If you found this useful, subscribe, leave a like, and drop a comment. It helps us cover more of these stories.